Hey, I just want to make a quick screencast about the unit circle. One real key thing is to be able to memorize it. And I know you're looking at this circle now, and there seems to be like 8 zillion angles and 8 million points to memorize, but it's really not that hard. And what I mean memorize it is just be able to sketch it quickly so that you can get a whatever angle and whatever point that you need on it. And the reason that it's not that hard is that everything's just a repeat of the first quadrant. So if you look at the pattern here, everything is pretty much the same point wise, except that this 1/2 has become negative 1/2, and this square root of 3/2 just stays the same. And that's just because that we've gone up to the other side of the y-axis where the x's are negative, right? The y's are still positive here. That's why the square root of 3/2 is changed. Okay. Over here, when we go from the first to the third, both the x and the y become negative, and so you've got all these points that are just the opposite of these points, right? And same thing here. The x's will stay negative because we're in the fourth quadrant, but the y's will become positive. Sorry, the y's become negative, the x's stay positive. I think I said that the wrong way. Anyway, so this is my really quick way to remember how to draw the unit circle. And it's really just to draw the first quadrant, because once you can do that, you can figure out everything else from it. So I just start and I just draw like a quarter of a circle in the first quadrant. And I just label my 2 points right here. This is 0, 1, right? Because the unit circle always has a radius of 1. That makes sense, right? If the radius is 1 of a unit circle, then this has to be 1, 0, and that has to be 0, 1. And then I just divide up the little segment, and I kind of did it into equal parts. It's really not quite true. But this is, for a sketch, it doesn't really matter that you get it perfectly exact. You're just wanting the numbers. All right, so this is 45 degrees, this is 30, and this is 60. And it also helps if you put the little radian measures in. So pi over 6, pi over 2, and pi over 3. Because sometimes problems will use radians, sometimes they'll use degrees. You got to know them both. Okay, and then I start figuring out all these points. And this is what you mostly use the unit circle for, is just knowing these kind of special points. And the first thing I do is just I put a fraction with a 2 in the denominator for all the points. That's the same for every single point. Okay, you've always got a 2 in the denominator. So just start that out. And then I do my 1, 2, 3s. And what I mean by that is that both the x's and y's are going to have these like 1, 2, 3, just this pattern of 1, 2, 3 all in a row going. Okay. And you just have to figure out which direction it goes in. And the way I remember is, well, if this is going to be 3, 2, 1, which point here, this one or this one, has the longest or the highest x coordinate? Well, of course, it's this one because it's further away horizontally, right? It's further to the right on the picture. So this has to be 3, not 1. This is always 2, right? So it should go 3, 2, 1 down to this point has the smallest x coordinate. It's got the biggest y coordinate, but the smallest x coordinate. And then I just did the reverse for the y's, right? The y pattern is just reversed. So the 1 goes to 3, 2, down to 1. Okay. We're still not quite done because it really wasn't 3, 2, 1. It's the square root of all those things. So you can write square roots over each of these numbers. You notice I didn't do the square root of 1, and the reason really is because the square root of 1 is just equal to 1 itself. So it doesn't make sense. But if it helps you to remember, you can just do square roots over them all. Okay. So I hope that helped remembering how to just sketch the first quadrant of the unit circle, and then you can figure out everything else you need to know in all the other quadrants just by adjusting the signs on the points. Okay.